Hi everyone, the Lone Wolf here, and welcome to EVE Talk, your weekly look at the market in EVE Online. Now at the moment I'm playing a lot of X Rebirth. The game just came out, and with EVE Online Rubicon just a few days away, I'm taking this opportunity to try and delve into X Rebirth. I have to say it's also an extremely complex game in a different way than EVE Online is, so yeah, I have a lot of studying to do, a lot of work ahead of me, and but I'm having a lot of fun with it so far. It's just yeah, it's actually pretty tricky to get going in the game. I do need to find a good way to make money. Now in EVE Online there's an easy way to make money, and that's well, easy. That's to do some trading, and that's why I'm doing these videos. So as always, let's start out with the minerals and let's see what Tritanium's been doing. Still around 489, 490, so that's up maybe a few cents from last week, but it's really a sideways movement and a very bad chart here at the moment. One data point in the millions, which is totally screwing everything up. But I think it was something like 484, 485 last week, so it's up a few cents, but it's really just a sideways movement. I'm really waiting for the time when Tritanium will get back up above 5 ISK. Next up, Pyrite, what's that doing? 1177, 1178, I'm suspecting that's pretty much sideways as well. Yeah, up just a little bit as well, but it's really still in the 1112 ISK band, and that counts as a sideways movement to me. Let's see what Mexalon is doing. Unfortunately, a very bad data point. I would say again here, sideways movement. It's very hard to tell on this chart like that, but you can see, I think, the 5-day moving average going back down a little bit. So yeah, here as well, sideways, 44.88, 44.89. I think it might even be, it's pretty much the same as last week, I would say, close to 45. But yeah, if you look at the 1-year chart, remember that Mexalon used to be above 60 ISK, so it still has a ways to go in my opinion. Next up, Isogen, also a sideways movement. That's pretty obvious here, I think. Maybe trying to go up a little bit, but here it's also a bad data point, and then it's really nothing too major just yet. So current price is 130 ISK for Isogen. Let's have a look at the high-end minerals then. Let's start off with Megasite. Ooh, still going down. That's a little bit surprising to me. I would say 1610. Where is that on the chart? No, that's actually going to come around, I think. Current price is 1610. That's way above what the chart is showing. So this is probably going to go, might just go up a little bit. If it manages to stay above 1600, this could end up becoming a bottom. And let's hope that it will at least start to move sideways and not go down any further. Let's have a look at Noxium then. Yeah, here again, 660. It broke that for just a little bit, and now it's moving sideways, but maybe up just a little bit. 680 for Noxium at the moment, and then let's see, Zydrine current price is 650, just below that, and here as well. It's at least up a little bit from last week here. Zydrine is the bigger mover for the last week, I'd have to say. So in general, minerals, they're moving sideways. They're no longer clearly going down, which they've been doing since Odyssey basically. And Zydrine has known a little jump here. Some of the other ones, well, Megasite as well. Actually, considering where the prices are in GTAC compared to the chart, it's actually up a little bit as well. And then Noxium, you could consider this an upward chart, but it's really hard to tell. So they're really struggling to make a clear upward trend just yet. The minerals, most of them are just moving sideways, but there are some telltale signs, especially in like Zydrine, that the lower prices might be over, and that we might finally be going into more of an inflationary scenario where there's more demand for minerals and these prices might be going up, which would of course be very good news for miners. A quick look at the impact on Tech 1 ships, the Drake, yeah, here as well. The 5-day moving average going up above 42 million, which prices in GTA are 42.7 million. But overall almost a negligible effect and a sideways movement close to the 42 million price band. Let's see what the Maelstrom is doing. That one is going up. That's a little bit surprising. I would say that's probably 0-0 Empires buying Maelstroms. Up towards 190, current price in station 192, not bad. That's definitely an upward trend here. If this means more demand, this could also translate in more demand in minerals. Let's hope it happens. The Omen here, I would say this is sideways movement around 9.5 million. The Rock here going up as well together with the Maelstrom. Current price probably close to 185, no, 191, so that's even jumping ahead of this chart as well. Tech 1 Battleships going up for some reason. Let's see what the Talos is doing, also up a little bit. Interestingly enough, current price are at 69 million, which is again just a little bit ahead of the chart. Yeah, I'd say Talos is actually has gone up in the last week quite substantially. So surprisingly enough, I'm seeing sideways movements in the smaller ships, and the larger ships seem to be going up for Tech 1 versions. Pretty interesting here. I do think that the Maelstrom, though, it's a really big movement, and that's because of some serious buying that's been going on by alliances that are preparing for war, usually winter expansions or war times. It could of course also be that they are preparing for their assault on the high-sec Pocos, and obviously you can't go in there with carriers and titans and stuff like that, and battleships are probably the better options for high-sec operations. So this could also be the reason why battleships like the Maelstrom and the Rock are going up. I would also expect this, so let's have a quick check here then. I would also expect this to be true for the other Tier 3 battlecruisers and for the Dominics. So let's have a quick look at those. Let's see what the Dominics is doing. Battleship, Standard, Galente. Yeah, Dominics is going up, although that's has stopped in the last week. Let's see if the Hyperion's also going up. Megatron, not so much. So it's still not completely clear. Raven, yeah, that one is going up as well. Let's see what the Abaddon is doing. Usually Abaddon fleets are a thing. Up a little bit. Not too clear. Apocalypse went up though, and then the Armageddon, that one spiked up as well. Yeah, this might just be operations for from null-sec alliances for high-sec wars. I think this is a possibility. Let's have a quick look then at the Tier 3 ones, maybe a few of the other ones. Naga, no, not a lot of movement here. The Oracle, no, again not. So it's really the battleships that have gone up for some reason, and this is my suspicion. It's 0-0 guys preparing for war in high-sec. Next up, Tech 2 ships. Let's have a look at some of these trade opportunities that we had sort of seen last week. So the Absolution had its really big movement here, and it's now coming back towards its 5-day moving average. Now if this can cross it, it will go way back down, and then we could see volatility in this Absolution market. So if this can actually break the 20-day moving average, which I would say is at around 215 million, then this could be going up. No, it's actually back up to 221, so that's pretty interesting in volatility. If you've been smart, bought your Absolutions for 195, you've made a good amount of profit in this. The Astarte, well, there is some movement. Keep in mind this small bump here is already 10 million, and it's already like 15 million below that high. So yeah, there could be a buying opportunity for Astartes. Claymore, ooh, nice big jump here. Never been a real fan of the Claymore. I think it's been quite stable. No, actually it's been doing quite well here. A decent bump here, quite some volatility. So the Claymore, yeah, if you looked at that for trade opportunities just a week or 2 weeks ago, you would have done a pretty good deal. Current price, we're looking at 224 million ISK for a Claymore, so it's actually already gone back down. The opportunity has already passed, but look at that nice spike. These are the trade opportunities. If you're really close on the ball on these, you can really make a lot of money. The Damnation, a little too flat to my liking. This is a 3-month chart, by the way. I'm having a look at these for this EVE talk. The EOS, I think it would be risky, just because it's already at a very high price at the moment. EOS is going for 335 million ISK. I would not invest in those unless you plan to use them. The Guardian, nice big spike here. As you can see, 3 nice spikes in the last 3 months, and the final one is actually pretty big. something like 20 million ISK in not much time for a 120 to 150 million ISK ship is not bad at all. It's been able to sustain this, so I would say this is definitely a selling opportunity here for the Guardian. Current price is 150 million ISK, close to that. Yep, but this could pull back after a while, I think. Nighthawk steadily going up. It knew one nice spike, but other than that, it's not as pronounced, so I wouldn't invest too much ISK in that. Sleipnir though, look at that, very nice spike. Again, I did not really enjoy the Minmatar ones too much, because the spikes have not been that many over the last year, but here once again you can see this was definitely a buying opportunity, probably close to 215, 220, something like that. Current price for Sleipnir's 248 million ISK. That's a nice profit for every ship that you would have invested here. I would not have risked it personally, but it did materialize once again, showing how the Tech 2 market is great for trading. And then the Vulture, after the big Odyssey spike here, it's also being a little bit too stable to my liking here, going up steadily instead of in a big spike. Current price is 236 for a Vulture. So yeah, decently interesting. I do think that all of these recent spikes that have all of a sudden shown up do show why I like the Tech 2 market for trading so much. Let's have a look here at the Legion. Has that been able to maintain itself a little bit? After the upswing from the Rubicon changes with the ability to refit subsystems on Tech 3 ships, they did all know a decent spike. Unfortunately, it's going back down a little bit, so this could be just a short-lived uptrend, although the Loki is doing quite a lot better, heading back towards 170. Yeah, 163, something like that, rather probably settling. Well, actually, you know, it's already pulling back a little bit from the big spike. Proteus, same thing here, and then the Tengu as well. It's going to be interesting to see if these can settle higher than their bottoms or not. But yeah, this is obviously the change that was announced for Rubicon all of a sudden. That is all of these spikes. Excuse me. But yeah, that's been digested by now by the market, and here we go. It's settling down. For instance, for the Tengu, close to 7-8 million more than its bottom price, but it's really not the drastic movement for Tech 3 producers just yet. Let's have a look at melted nanoribbons. Well, at least that one is not going down so quickly. Let's have a quick look at the current prices for melted nanoribbons. 4.9 million, not bad, you know, still close to 5 million. So if I look at a 1 year chart, yeah, 5 million, maybe a little bit more even, would have been the average it's been for the entire year. Right now it's still decently low, but it's finally crawled out of this bottom, and let's hope that we can see another one of these spikes at some point. That would be good for my personal investment, which I bought at 4.5, but it looks like melted nanoribbons can sustain itself quite a bit higher than what the ships have been doing. Let's see, Marauders, maybe we'll do a quick touch on that. The Golem going up, I guess that's because it was shown during the live stream. Chronos going up a little bit as well, but this is really hovering around that 1 billion price mark. Paladin up a little bit as well, but again hovering around that 950 million mark, and then the Vargur up as well, but yeah, again also 950 million. So there is an uptrend in all of them, but it's really only the Golem that's breaking its general trend, going up as high as 1.2 billion ISK, which I think is just, you know, the CCP showed them off a lot of interest in the Golem. All of a sudden, you know, people that what is that ship? Well, that looks so cool. Let's try and buy one, because they saw a dev showing it off during the live stream. I would not be surprised if that's the case on these movements, because most of them are still well within their normal price range, plus sometimes 500 million extra with the announced changes, but it's also not super drastic. Quick touch on the fuels, but I suspect here you can see clearly the Amar fuels well within the 14 to 15k band. Caldari fuels up a little bit, but not breaking 17k. Galente back down below again here 14 to 15k band is where they are at, and then the Minmatar ones close to the 14k price point, pretty damn stable, nothing too drastic here. Quick touch of the R64 stuff, Dysprosium continuing its climb, you know, 50k, 51,000 for Dysprosium. I guess there's a lot of planning going on around the Siphon unit. Neodymium climbing up a little bit, not too drastic. Promethium, that one is going up quite a lot, heading towards 40k, breaking 40k, 42,000 ISK for some Promethium. I guess this does make the Siphon unit quite interesting if you can put them on those types of moons. And then Thulium, it's really been hanging around its plateau of 16 to 18k, current prices almost 18k, so this feels decently stable. It's really Dysprosium and Promethium that have been moving quite a lot in the last few weeks. And I guess that's it for what I usually check. So on to the Plex. And decently interesting here, I do think that you can see the two spikes right here, spike up to 600, spike up to 620. Here it's working on another spike, but you can see the 20-day moving average going back towards 600 million and being much more stable, whereas these two other spikes were clearly in the uptrend. This one is counter to the uptrend, so I'm expecting close to 600 million. Actually, it's 618 million for a Plex, still pretty expensive, you know, that's actually close to these points. But I do suspect that more will be coming to the market and that this will actually stabilize close to 600 million in the upcoming weeks. But the 1 year cycle that I've been talking about all summer, basically that one did really materialize, just a little bit lower than what I had expected. So spike at 600 and at 620, I would have basically thought the first spike would have reached 620 because it did that last year at its maximum, and that we would actually break that by a decent margin on the second spike, or on the highest spike of the year towards the winter expansion. That did not materialize, although it did try, you know, some data points close to 630, but after that, you know, it does at some point stop being so volatile. And here you can see the 20-day moving average right here at the tail end is going down. So in the last few weeks, despite current prices in station still at 618, the general trend is already to a more stable Plex market, which is normal. After a winter expansion launches, there's usually a period of stability, which you can see here as well, and then close to January we usually see a downtrend with a bottom around April or May even, where you have another really good buy opportunity to make an awesome trade. You cannot know this for sure, but that is what I'm expecting. This is actually really the second year where I've personally noticed this pattern to come out and to be true. So I think it's pretty damn interesting. And yes, for the next few weeks, I would say expect Plex to hover around 600 million. Maybe those are the buy orders. That's a possibility. Yeah, 690. It's actually pretty high for these buy orders. So could stability be around 610 rather than 600? I'm not 100% sure what is going to be. The 20-day moving average though points towards 600 million. So that would be my personal expectation. But yeah, that's it for this EVE talk, guys. A lot of activity, I think, in the game in general, with the winter expansion coming. Plex is at 610 million, 618 million does show that. And it's going to be very interesting, I think, once Rubicon launches, to take a look at all of these new deployable items, the new ships as well, and the new implants, the first player-made implants as well. I think, obviously, once Rubicon comes out, there will also be a focus on those new items for EVE Talk. But for this week, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.